I would like to take the opportunity to thank you most sincerely for the invitation to witness and address this important occasion of the launch of your rolling stock. An occasion which underscores the commitment of the South African government to driving the process of the industrialization of our economy, which includes the decentralization of industrial activities. In practice, this will involve giving extraordinary support to the development of our manufacturing sectors, as well as to produce products of considerable value. The new growth path had set our country the challenge to grow employment by 5 million jobs by 2020, which would require focused and resolute intervention in a number of areas, all at the same time, focusing consistently on areas that have the potential for creating employment on a large scale, what we term jobs drivers, and securing growth, strong and sustainable growth in the next decade. The new growth path had acknowledged the very important fact that most of the projected new jobs will come from the private sector. In this regard, it identified two key variables that would affect the target of 5 million new jobs. That is, the rate of economic growth and the employment intensity of that growth, which is the rate of growth in employment relative to the rate of growth in GDP. In effect, we need both to maximize growth and to ensure that it generates more employment, mostly in the private sector, in order to reach our target. The employment intensity of growth must be kept between 0.5 and 0.8, while the rate of growth in GDP should rise to between 4 and 7% per annum. Supporting the jobs drivers through appropriate measures is important to encourage more employment-intensive growth. Quite frankly, we need high rates of economic growth over a sustained period of time, supported by the right mix of macro and microeconomic policies in order to achieve the employment targets that we have set our sights on. Critical in that mix must be policies and programs that support the development of a dynamic and thriving manufacturing sector in our country. However, there is nothing natural about the development of manufacturing. Developing a manufacturing sector involves coordinated capital allocation, investments in plant skills, technologies, learning and all kinds of associated infrastructures, ranging from logistics and energy infrastructure to broadband facilities, to research, as well as development infrastructure. The new growth path had acknowledged the very important fact that most of the projected new jobs will come from the private sector. In this regard, it identified two key variables that would affect the target of 5 million new jobs. That is, the rate of economic growth and the employment intensity of that growth. In relation to the customers of our state-owned companies, our vision envisages a relationship between the state-owned companies and their customers that drives investment and enhances our national competitiveness, particularly in sectors identified as important in our industrial policy, as well as the new growth path. These sectors tend to be infant industries, meaning that they do not yet have the scale or maturity to compete globally, and consequently need special nurturing from the state if they are to survive and grow. To enable this, we have established project-based forums between state-owned companies and key customer sectors, such as, for example, the State-Owned Companies Automotive Sector Competitiveness Forum, established to explore how practically we can improve the capacity, efficiency and cost of the service delivery of the state-owned companies to the automotive sector, so that it can compete more effectively on the global stage and yet still find South Africa a worthwhile hub to continue basing themselves and investing in. Finally, let me turn to the supplier development program. I am sure that uppermost in your minds is that Transnet is in the process of assessing proposals for the largest single fleet procurement locomotives in South Africa's history. 1,064 locomotives will be procured, which will cost in the region of 35 billion rand. Significant weight was given in the procurement around the achievement of our localization and transformation objectives. The procurement will lay a platform for a 7 to 10-year strategic partnership between Transnet and key national and international suppliers in the locomotive cluster. We are confident that we will more than double, if not triple, present levels of local content as a consequence of this procurement. We are determined to use this process to develop a number of new capabilities in the locomotive supply chain so as to decrease imports as well as promote a range of new exports. We have the same expectations for private businesses involved in the production of intermediate and advanced components as we do for Transnet Engineering. We expect these businesses to get international certification in quality and lean manufacturing and to have their processes benchmarked. We expect them to take advantage of any export opportunities presented to them by TE or other global OEMs. We expect them to be continuously investing in skills development as well as the transformation in order to bring Black-owned, youth-owned and women-owned businesses on board and provide them opportunities. I want to congratulate DCD on the opening of this world-class rolling stock manufacturing facility. I believe that DCD, in selecting itself as a true industrial champion that will both support and benefit from the investment programs of state-owned companies as well as our other initiatives to incentivize the development of our heavy engineering sector, is providing the leadership we need in order to take our economy to the next level and take our country forward as we face the challenges of the future. I thank you very much.